We're now just hours away from the inauguration of the next president of the United States. Our correspondent Susan Teherani joining us now from Capitol Hill. This is going to be an inauguration like no other in American history. Susan, let's begin by talking about the security measures. Give us a better sense of what things are looking like around you.
That's right, Molly. As you mentioned, no stones have been left unturned, and security officials led by the Secret Service and FBI have said that they prefer to be safe than sorry. Despite the fact that there's been no credible threat from extremist groups, there's widespread security on every corner of the street of Washington, D.C. Basically, once you have your credentials and you're past a certain point, you really can't walk around and try to really show and tell. You're sort of stationed in one place as we are right now and as others are. And we're asked to have limited movement, and that's for the fact that, they're keeping more control, despite the fact that every corner you see, there's a Humvee, like the one behind me, really greeting you, but also an extremely friendly and calm National Guard. And I know that you talked about, and the latest news is that 12 members of extremist groups were sort of embedded in these National Guards. I think that kind of brought down some spirits, at least, when we were passing checkpoints and we were trying to film them and, send it to you for our audience. They said make sure, quote unquote, that we look good. And, that was a time that we had to thank them for the service that they're doing right now. It's almost freezing temperatures here. They've been here for, many of them, for almost a week. We have 25,000 National Guard troops from different states. Governors really took measure to bring these troops here, and law enforcement from their state as well, bring them to the nation's capital, despite the fact that there are also security threats and or possibility of security threats, I must say, in a lot of states across the country as well. However, U.S. officials said this is about security, it's about safety, but it's also about restoring our democracy and the peaceful transfer of power, which hopefully will take place in just a few hours.
Right, stay with me, Susan. A quick word also from John Christopher on this very aspect. Given what the United States has seen over the last 4 years, and specifically over the last few weeks after the Capitol siege and the action that's been taken, 25,000 National Guard troops, all of them being vetted, 12, like we just said, have also been under that scrutiny. Your assessment of the need for healing, building a better America, togetherness that Joe Biden has talked about, and why there is a greater need for building trust in the administration all over again?
Well, I think Donald Trump, in a sense, was basically the enabler. He was seen as a deity to his disciples who deified him. He could do nothing wrong. You remember, he said, I could go to the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot someone and I would still get elected. There are some very extreme people, these extreme right-wing groups that have infiltrated our entire system. And they were the ones who disgracefully entered the Capitol and really was screaming to hang the Vice President Mike Pence. And God knows what they would have done if some of the brave Capitol Police did not thwart off some of those invaders. And I think we saw the president on that very day just be in front of the White House at the Ellipse, demanding and commanding these people, these individuals, these disciples, to go march down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol, and let's show them what it's about. And Rudy Giuliani said, let's have a trial by combat. This is very inflammatory. This is really frightening. Now, the last time these kinds of troops, in my knowledge, there was some during the previous administration, but it was during the Civil War that President Lincoln came to visit the Union soldiers on that very mall that we look at today, that now has flags of all the thousands of people who have died from COVID. Our country is going through enormous change, enormous recycling, as you will, but the Constitution will hold. The president will be in Florida soon. He leaves at 8 o'clock. He will give up all his rights. He will give up Air Force One. and we will have a president who's talking about compassion and understanding and peace and global understanding and listening to our neighbors and listening to our allies and being very wary of Putin, who is always wants to see America collapse for his own benefit.
Indeed. John Christopher, appreciate very much joining us on the broadcast here. Let me go back across to Susan Teherani, who's been with us from Capitol Hill, giving us a better sense of what things are looking like on the ground. Susan, this has been described, as John Christopher also put it, as an inauguration like no other, an unprecedented election. And this ceremony itself will be a subdued one and will be set apart from the ones that have been witnessed before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this inauguration is happening in the backdrop of one of the most deadly viruses that we've seen in human history. 400,000 Americans have already lost their lives. This was an election like no other. A lot of mail-in ballots, a lot of people voting remotely, and here we are at this moment with Joe Biden's inauguration ceremony. Now, what we know right now is that he does have a pretty packed schedule. Well, you know, there won't be people here greeting him down Pennsylvania Avenue as traditionally presidents walk after they've been sworn in as U.S. president. However, there are live performances, there are a lot of virtual events, and it won't be very subdued. It'll just be very different. And I know that we talk about healing a lot, and this is an election about healing. But this is an opportunity for Joe Biden and his administration to sort of reach out with an olive branch to the 75 million people that did vote for Donald Trump at the end of the day. And there are people that they are Republicans, and they're hoping that this healing also comes with a sense of understanding a very polarized America as this president takes office. And it's basically up to him and his administration. I mean, the Senate is Democrat right now. There's a majority congressional Democrat, and you have a Democratic president. So at this point, the ball is in the court of the Biden administration to see how he wants to reach out to the rest of the country as well.
And we'll keep coming back to you for further updates. Susan Teherani, thanks very much for the moment. And WION, that remains a continuing focus right here. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.